What is going on, everybody? We're back at it with another stream, another live. Tonight is going to be an interesting conversation. We have the guys sitting, they're about to go to boxing. We have a couple of newbies coming in, some oldie guys coming in who have not showed their face in a while. But before we get into it, who remembers the Thundercats? And that's all I'm going to say right now. Except that, do me a favor, hit the like and share and subscribe. It will be Thunderian. This guy's guy in here. I know he's willing to go to boxing about this. David,
What's going on?
how are you, my brother?
One of the weirdest weekend ever.
Mhm. Can't argue there. Good or bad?
A mixture of both. I'm anticipating for Monday, but I'm in some shitty situation right now. I'm trying to figure out how much roadblock do I have to go through in life.
Well, I have a saying. Just hear me out, all right? We all go up the Mount Olympus. It's your whatever mountain you want to call it. Thunderian, Mount Olympus, whatever, right? But we're gonna trip and fall back. As we're rolling down the hill, we're gonna see our mistakes. We're not gonna land on our face. We're gonna land on our feet and go back up the mountain. Says fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. We're not gonna make some mistakes. But tonight, we're not gonna do that. You know what we're gonna talk about tonight? We're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna argue.
And
We're gonna screw at each other. I'm probably gonna fart in your face at some point and tell you I'm right. Yeah, you love that, don't you?
no, I don't.
Yeah. I made you smile at least.
No, I was like, I'm from Brooklyn. You know what happened when people do such a shit? They're like,
True story, bro.
uh,
I was working to. Hey, well, I'm gonna drop the link right now for you. Give me 1 second, brother. I didn't forget about you. I didn't get a chance to email it to you. I apologize on that one. I was literally working on it right now. Here you go, my man. So I was working in a bar. I was one of the manager there. So the chef's son was working with me on the line. He's a cook too. So he bends over, grabs something from the bottom fridge. As he bends over, I couldn't hold myself anymore. I was holding, I'm trying to squeeze and go. He goes, turn around, you fucking asshole. He goes to me. I ripped it right in his face, bro. Right in his face. You awake? Or did he freeze on me? Yeah, David froze. So,
I froze.
yep, yeah, now you're good. You were frozen for a minute.
Oh wow.
So, I don't know if it was the connection or is it, whatever what it is.
I was switching between apps for a moment.
That's probably it. All right. Let me ask you a question now, brother, before anybody else comes in. When you
Oh,
hear
today's
thunder,
topic.
thunder,
Okay.
thunder, Thundercats, ho, what do you have to say?
I would say I grew up watching this as a kid, which is for sure. When it
Mm-hmm.
came out during the 80s, I can't remember the exact year when it came out. I'm not sure it was 1982 or 1983. Thundercat was one of a batch of cartoons that came out in the early 80s, along with He-Man, along with G.I. Joe, along with Transformer. But as we get older, we start to realize, iconically speaking, Thundercat almost looked like it was a copy or a manufacturing cartoon that replicated another cartoon that's also popular as well, which was very strange.
Hang on a second,
Now,
David, before you move on. Thundercats came out January 23rd, 1985, to be specifically.
1985. Now,
The
when
year
they
I was
first
born.
came out, the pilot was pretty good, pretty decent. But after a while, it picked up very, very well. But there was a age-old argument among as kids who was better, either Thundercat or He-Man. Even though the storyline almost looks similar, but not exactly similar. Even though the writer was very smart to make it look like it's not the same, but the plot looks like the same in some kind of way. But it was a cool, iconic cartoon. Now, after it was done with the series at that time, We can tell there are a lot of unanswered questions about how the thing ended. Somebody brought it back. They trying to modernize or upgrade their storyline to make it more detailed. It was great until they dropped the ball again. Now you can imagine the huge fan base Thundercat really have. And when they found out what they were going to do afterward, it kind of like all hell broke loose. Because you start to wonder, why do people take whatever you grew up and you love to watch? It'll be Thundercat, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformer, Ninja Turtles. The list goes on. There are so many iconic cartoons that came out that built a lot of people's childhood. And you find out as you got older, tried to redo it or reestablish it or recreate it in a way whereby it got too much shenanigan in there. It's not needed. That was the issue. You start to question what is the agenda now, because like things in today's time are done in a way poor taste. But we will talk about it in detail at the conference to go further. I want to spoil the bean right now. I'm sure there are people who were watching Thundercat who loved it when it first came out and were pissed off how it being treated in today's time. That's something we need to talk about. We'll talk. If you ask me.
Okay, so 85 series it's gonna be a classic. No matter how we let's cut the apple so many different ways. It is a very classical series. The ending could have been better. I'm not gonna argue that at all. Now it left us with a cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger was big. Hang on, before I move on, let's get this guy in here because I know he wants to have a conversation with us too. Wally, my man, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing much, my man. Give me a second. I'll give you the floor and let me finish my thought, and I'll give you the floor next. So, the Thundercats, I think they're a great series. Now you can argue, oh, it copied after Tiger Sharks or Silverhawks and so on. I'm not here to argue about that one, but my argument statement it is going to be the original series versus the old new series. I think the new series was good, but it wasn't really my cup of tea, if that makes sense. Some things I did like a lot about it, but towards as the season started moving more in deep, I was starting to get, I don't know, think about this that much. But before we start, getting into our conversation, Wally, I'll give you the floor. Tell me your thoughts about Thundercats.
uh, what can I say? The beautiful show of yesteryear, only to be elevated to newer year. You start off very good, and then what you do, you end up and stripped it from people's hearts, like the dastardly fuckers that you are. Literally, I can't stand it. I just can't. Oh wait, okay, something wrong with my something wrong with my camera. Sorry about that. But yeah, it was just pain. It was just a bloodthirsty pain. It was really good for what it was. It was really quote unquote to be on par with what the classic version of Thundercats was. And then that detour it just ruined everything. It just ruined everything. It just ruined everything. Lord Almighty, it's just one of those. Why bring it back if you're not gonna go all in? Like, just why? And then I mean I know you earlier said that Thundercats were like I know most people said that Thundercats is more like a copy of other things. It's funny because me and David had a conversation and I actually relate Thundercats in a way to being a little bit similar to what is He-Man in a sense. But I'll stay right there for now. I'll stay right there.
Okay. I like to hear where you guys are going to go. I get a feeling you guys going to go for blood tonight, you two.
Oh no, we We talked about it offline because there was so many things we wanted to point out, and I realized if we kept on going and talking, we'd have been up all in the early morning because it was a lot of details. That
Hmm.
is why imagine other fan members would have come on the panel and point out what they saw they did not like. Because you mentioned the new one was not like the old one, which I totally understand. But I also noticed they were trying to detail the origin of the start. What I had to give it credit to where credit is due.
Oh, the start was great. Don't you not get me wrong. I think they did a
Okay.
really good job. But one thing we gotta keep in mind, they even said this is not a continuation or a new take on the Thundercats. It's a reboot. So they're
If,
already on
if,
Third Earth.
if you don't want to reboot, which I totally agree with you. But if you compare it to what you saw from the old one to now, you will know that there's a huge distance that was left out from the old one that was kind of like covered up in the new one. For example, like why did they came to Thundera? What was the reason behind X, Y, and D sort of thing? That was one part about it, right? What I did had an issue with wasn't with in the beginning. It was showing in the middle, and they were trying to create depth in every character. You start to question what was the writer thought process when they were creating this. That was one. Because it's somewhere along the line you felt as if they were trying to speed the process up, or they were getting forced to trying to either wrap it up or make it shorter. And this happened toward to the halfway, no, past the halfway mark, toward to the end of the season.
Hmm.
I caught on to because every time you watch, if you were watching something and they were taking the time to elaborate and explain each character functionality, each character perspective, each character value. But when you start to get a little further, you start to feel like, wait, why did I feel like this the thing you watch all the time? Why it's not really taking its regular pace? Why the speed up for what is going on? And the story was getting very, very interesting. But we start to realize certain story came in a little too early too soon. When you look back on the old Thundercat, certain story didn't come until after season two, season three. Why was the storyline that was being shown in season two to come too early in season one? You got to ask questions,
Okay.
and that make it kind of cure. Like, okay, what the direction they take with us? Do you believe that it was done wrongly, or do you feel like if they have a better studio who can do it justice? Let's say, I'm not saying this should happen the way, but God forbid. Okay, you give Cartoon Network another chance, not to fuck this one up like it did He-Man. No, they really fucked up He-Man. They fucked up Voltron. Yeah,
That's a conversation for another show. Voton's
I know.
coming in future shows. Don't worry.
I know, because there's so much we can throw at it, but we would hope, let's say they give Netflix another chance. How would they fix this mess? How would they rectify it? Would they stay true to the original storyline? Or would they expand the original storyline to give in depth? Because me and Wally were saying this thing. When we come to Japanese, they have a level of consistency when it comes to expanding the storyline and keep it consistent. You're not rushing it, you're not speeding it up, you're keeping it even pace. The longest storyteller right now is One Piece. Perfect example. Yeah, there's too many idiots out there. Oh, One Piece is corny. No, it's not corny. It's just that your level of intellect is too low for it to understand it, which is very factual. Y'all like everything so quick and easy, microwave. Maybe that's why your literature is so short. Maybe that's why you have too much deadbeat marriages out there. Maybe that's the reason why, because your attention span is so bad, it's ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe because they put too much ADHD well into your food that you can't sit down and enjoy a good storytelling, enjoy a good plot or something. Understand the scope of the big picture, but no, you want it now and fast. You know, when you're so fast, that way your girl left you for another man. I'm just saying. But as we were saying, this is why when it comes to we doing, reproducing, doing a reboot of our original cartoon, and try to do it justice, you gotta ask yourself, are you gonna rush it or you gonna take your time and give it a thought out plan so that it'll have people coming back for more?
So it wasn't canceled because the show was bad.
No, it wasn't.
It got canceled because it was not selling enough toys for them.
Which is
Let's be
bullshit.
honest here. I'm sorry, David.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit, but cartoons are made to sell toys. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
No,
Like,
I get it. It's cartoon made to sell toys. I totally get it.
on a
But
side
if
note,
I
really
remember,
fast, before you say anything, for anybody who has not watched the Thundercats and want to get into it, from the original, I recommend the original and the second series. They're both on Hulu right now, actually.
on Hulu,
Yeah. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, it's not fine because from when I'm looking at it like this, you're producing something, recreating something, right? You want to make toys sell. If that what the case, but by all means, make it make sense because for one, I can tell the global fan base was saying that next time they want to put another Thundercat, they're not going to support it since they shitted on it. We got shit on too many iconic cartoons that people grew up in the 80s, and you with Thundercat. It's almost like saying, we're done. We're going to cross the borderline. We're going to leave the cartoon era behind, join the Japanese animation. At least we know Japanese animation, they're not going to betray you. They're not going to backstab you. They're not giving you shit. The only issue they have is it's a politics of what production do the production and what the direction they're going to take. And they don't do well. They know the fan base will let them have it and will hurt their bottom line. Either they like it or they don't. And that's the thing. So that's something I've been noticing that for a while. But when they did it with Thundercat, I was like, you know what? Remember they did abandon ship. Let them know that they effed up. So okay, you canceled about the toy sale and bought a reject version. Think that would help you. It did not. Y'all lost viewers. All the viewership that you have from the reboot were cut in half or more. They're like, screw you. You can keep that. We don't care. And I'm sure the executive was wondering, like, what the hell is going on? Dude, you're out of touch, like Vince McMahon is out of touch.
Ooh.
It's time to go and burn out and retired. But people don't get it. People think they understand marketing. No, you don't understand marketing. It's that your brain is shot dead.
See, back in the day, you had to sell good toys for kids to go after the cartoon. Now I
Hmm.
think it's flipped. You have to have a good cartoon for kids to go after the toys. I don't know if you guys,
Bingo.
David, your grandfather, your father, your great grandfather, and great 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 grandfather too.
I'm
Um,
not Moses like our pain.
okay, you're
Or
not
then there to
Moses,
the
but
beginning of
you're
time.
dust. You're dust. Okay,
No,
you're close to
our
it.
pain
You're
is much
African
older
dust.
than me. I'm not. I'm still young, 46. At least I still have my youthfulness. Our
And if you,
pain have seen 100 marriages over the 100th century. No,
anyway, my
thank
point
you.
is trying to get to is, have you seen a transition from kids who like you had to sell good toys for them to go after the cartoon? Now is the
Hmm.
other way around. I feel is you have to have a good cartoon for the kids to go for the toys. Or am I wrong?
Perfect. You're correct. Perfect example. There's a franchise that made a killing on the cartoons. No, it was the anime they were doing well, and they had a huge sell. Beyblade, for example.
Oh yeah, I
That
remember
Beyblade
that.
era it was a huge success because one, the cartoon would draw the customers to the toy sale. The storyline was consistent. It went from Beyblade to Beyblade Burst, and it increased the sale. People were buying it on a global scale.
I'll give you a better example. Gundam.
Gu- Gundam is not even a better. Gundam is like is the best example, but you can tell that the complexity concerning the Gundam. The fact that it's so massive, it's so global. It's hard for the Gundam company to keep up with them because for one, you're selling on a global stage. Two, People are going to customization, doing competition with these things.
Oh, I've
Three,
seen some
they cut,
insane models, bro.
and that's the thing. Some of the customization of these Gundam or the Gunpla, that's the actual name, Gunpla, end up being in the next upcoming anime because what these people creativity did, it gave these writers new ideas. That's the difference. It let them understand to explore the level of creativity of their fan base actually love and enjoy. What do you think your favorite gun should look like if you have it way to modify it? And boom, the amount of modification you see all across the board is not even funny. It got to a point it went to the gaming industry. It got popular in that area. This is how you build a successful franchise compared to the bunch of fallout we have in the US. They think they know what the hell they're trying the same old broken record player move and it's not working. And they hit the problem with the toy sale. The toy sale was not matching with the storyline.
Great example.
They got away with that back in the 80s. The problem is they were trying to repeat it again in the late 2000s or so. Not realize they're like, no, we're not buying the bullshit. This does not match. This does not connect. So when you try and pull your little okie dokie, whatever nonsense you're trying to pull, and it's not working, you wonder why it's not working. You suck in marketing. You suck in understanding the fan base. That is why it went down here. That you come out with the most disrespectful Thundercat Go version of Steve Universe. F you.
Hmm. Wally, what do you
F
guys say on this?
you.
Let's get Wally in here for a second. He's being really quiet, and I don't like that. Oh boy, I don't like him shaking his head. All right, Tiger, get in there. Here.
I too agree on that abomination of hell. But of
Oh.
course, that's the usual thing with everything as far as every single time you bring things back into the newer age, they always do these flagrant ass shit. AKA perfect example of comparison. We had Teen Titans. Now we got the Teen Titans Get Out
Oh.
phenomenon.
Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to mention that one. I'm sorry. I decided
Thank
to
you for keeping
forget that.
a topic
Out of
there.
here. So no, this is just atrocity. This is atrocity. I don't know what's more to say. Literally, like this is how bad you end up knowing that everything has went left. Cartoon Network, you foul pieces of shit. What are you? A fucking anime film company, or are you fucking Disney Channel trying? Like, what are you trying to be here? Pick a side. Pick a side. Because you're selling me Disney, let Disney sell that crap to me. God damn it. Because that shit is an atrocity. But more so words, just to state like more framework on just the overallness of this, right? Because this is my thing, right? And this is why I was so intrigued with the newer version a little bit. Because at least the newer version went a little bit in depth. And then what they do, they went in depth. They selling you a nice story. Now, of course, I know you guys are talking about, the reason why the thing, went south was because, oh, well, they weren't selling the toys. Look here. Look here. If that was your main goal, selling toys, then I'm going to sit here and tell you this. Don't fucking touch the damn project again, you bastards. It's just that simple. It's just that freaking simple. If that was your main mission, just don't freaking touch it in the first place. Because you fucked around and made a good product, but then what you did? Oh, well, we ain't seeing no toy sales, so, we may as well just put this on the shelf. What the fuck you mean, put it on the shelf? What do you mean? You had gold. But no. Well, we had gold, yes, but we have to have the toys though. We have to have toys.
Now, let me jump on this bandwagon when you talk about the toys. Now, remember I mentioned Beyblade, right? And Beyblade Burst. It's funny how American toymaker wants to join in the bandwagon and join in the profit it was generated. It got to a point I had to teach my kids. There are two different of the Beyblade. You have the authentic original Beyblade, and you got the garbage that being sold in the U.S.
Toys are of garbage, bro. Everybody knows that.
But see, that's
And
the thing though.
and that's it
Go
was
ahead.
pure utter garbage. It was so garbage on detail that when I would teach my kids these things, they were able to see the huge difference. Like, nah, I ain't buying none of these hash brown Beyblades because it's not like the authentic one. And this is why I say America do not comprehend the ingenuity behind the people design and why they do what it is. Okay, fine. America have been trying to win back the young audience.
Too late for that.
I learned from perfect example Power Ranger, right? Everybody grew up watching Power Ranger.
Oh, one of
Yeah.
my favorite shows.
Until you find out the Power you was not the original Power Ranger, and you find out you've been bamboozled too.
Oh, trust. There's too much stories about. Oh, there was supposed to be certain people that were supposed to be the original Red Ranger, and then we changed that off the
And when
whole.
I had to do my homework on that and find out the original storyline of the Power was even better than American version, I was like, God damn.
It's always gonna be better. It's always gonna be better. Trust me. It's
So I was
always.
like, this the idea you had? No wonder you lost your creativity a long time ago. And that's the issue right now. What is happening right now? Cartoon, as it is right now, not only has lost its flavor, it has lost its position. Japanese animation decide to dip their boot in concrete, put hot sauce on it, and use a kick cartoon out of the atmosphere like you don't belong here. That's exactly what it is. A lot of these cartoons is so dumbed down, it's so backward, it's so illiterate. I keep telling my kid, you want to actually watch on to make you learn something? Watch Japanese animation. You'll learn something quick before you even realize it. It's funny how you watch Japanese animation, you learn something about history, you learn something about science, you learn something about mathematics, you learn something about geography, you learn something about literature, far more than you watch cartoon that dumb your ass down and make you look like you have ADHD. Make it make sense. Could never comprehend that.
I can't either, to be honest with you.
This is why it's a disease. It's a very toxicity.
I
I
being
think
a
I said it before on my channel, and I'll say it again. 85 to 90 was the best year for cartoons,
hmm
Sadly,
American cartoons. I'm sorry, what?
so sadly, but even in the spectrum of that though, as good as those cartoons was, even those cartoons even had secret agendas deep
Of
down
course.
inside. Sadly,
They
hmm
were there for, again, it's a business. They have to sell toys to the toys produce,
oh
the
yeah,
sell
no, the
out.
toys is not the toys is not the argument. I'm even talking about. I'm talking about like the agendas in the visuals of
The
what.
the hidden message.
Yes, the hidden dark fuckeries of it all. But nonetheless, I mean, take those away. You just know that you just got a better product overall.
And it's been that way. Like I was telling my kids about Doctor Stone, perfect example of an anime that you learn about science a little bit too easy, too quick, and you got to catch on. You're like, oh shit, like, you would never learn it from cartoon, would you? And cartoon, for I don't know how in the world. a kid find it entertaining. When I'm just looking at what they're watching, I'm like, really? And when they had argument, they can't make a solid argument because the argument all over the place. It's not like a ADHD student from elementary school.
That's what you call a cartoon that's wrapped around in bull. Like literally, it's like Looney Tunes without the Looney Tunes. You're
Hmm.
just zigzagging the whole thing around, and that's when like most of the cartoons that they had in the later like slightly like what mid 2000s were so very vulgarish trash. It just made me sick in the stomach. I mean, I think the last time I've ever watched a decent cartoon from Cartoon Network that was actually solid was like what the regular show. After that, I said screw it all.
It was that bad.
Cartoon Network. As much I want to give them credit, they never made anything good I can remember. Never, not even one good cartoon that they produced and that made. Oh my god, it was good. Like everything they every put on there was reruns from from somebody else's cartoons.
Hmm.
Toonami is the only good thing I remember from that because they were bringing
Exactly.
things from other countries, and I loved Toonami, and that's where a lot of people discovered Thundercats in the early 2000s from Toonami. Like, here, let me ask you guys a question. Let me get my notes up here for a second. Okay, we have the 85 and 2000 series. Now, let's say we had to remake it for a third time today. What would you guys do different? Oh, sure. Wally's eyes are about to flip over upside down. Go ahead, Wally. Go first. I can see you're go ahead.
Ah, Lord. So, do y'all remember there was like this vague rumor of this like Thundercats movie coming out? Like
It's still
project,
rumors
like
about it.
yeah, okay. Because I remember there was this movie they were talking about this movie, and I was like, let me find out that shit real, because I'll lose my mind. But nonetheless, let's bring it back, right? So if we were to run this back again for the third time, and run this back for the third time, what would we do with this?
I'm listening.
I ain't gonna lie. Part of me just want to be like, just don't touch it at all. Just don't touch it at all. You already ruined too much childhoods. Like, sweet mercy. But then again, it's like, all right, let's just talk about let's talk about it for just the creation. If we bring it back, I think again, just as like they did the 2011, 2012, I think you still stand on that premise. The only difference though is for sure, you have to actually have somebody that's willing to build this, like really build this. Now, do we build this as a true defining, keep it animated just to keep it nice and sober? Yeah, you can keep it animated. Do we bring it in live action in any format? That would be a stretch in a long sense, because it'd just be a stretch. I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not ready for another fail. So I'm not ready for another fail. But yeah, I think you keep it on the same premise as the second version, but just bring it back and then keep on that story, because it was literally good. It was literally good. It's like literally the classic to the newer one were literally on par of the same rating of how good the show was. Literally. So I think honestly that would be the main thing. It's just that you just bring it back. You just find someone else to just take it, bring it back, reflesh out the whole shows. Maybe do a slight sense of change based upon how the stories was being made out, and then continue it off from there.
Mm.
But it got to be somebody, for the Lord's sake, Christ. It got to be someone that gives a fuck about the show more than the fucking stupid ass toys. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, at this point, let's be real here. In all my lives of any other cartoons and any other things that ever had a fragmentation of having toys and or action figures in the mix. Literally, I didn't buy that much. And why? One side it could have been because I didn't have the money for it, but at the same time, I didn't really give a fuck for it. I'm not there for the toys. I'm there for the story. God damn it! I'm there for the passion. And there's nothing
And I
more.
agree with you. I agree with you because for us old folks, they call us old timers. Like I'm 39, he's 55. David, and you're
46, not 55.
46.
That's
I'm
number
sorry.
one.
I,
Number
I
two,
was being smart. I was being a serious question.
I know, but number two, as I listen to Wally, if you want to do that third tribe, my head and when you mention third tribe, all I can think about is take the project, wrap it, go straight to Tokyo, Japan, go on your knee and beg them, please, please, Sensei, sir, redeem this cartoon, make it to a full-time anime, and do it justice before the American people destroyed.
See, here's the thing,
But
David, and hang on before I do that. Wally, how old are you, dude?
Oh, I'm in my 30s.
30s. Okay, you're around my
I'm
age or
46.
Oh
younger?
no, 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 like 30, like actually
Oh,
30.
okay, I thought you were. I didn't want to. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm
we're all
46.
yeah.
we all are right there. Is saying, okay, yeah, we remember this cartoon. Not only that, I'll give it a better example. When you see video games transition into anime or cartoons, they're not usually good transitions.
To a
And
degree.
I'm sorry.
To a degree. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it makes me nervous to see this come back the third time or even a movie. As much I would love to see a live action movie, I don't think they should do it.
Look,
But
I say
if you're
like
going to
this.
do it, but which version are you going to use? The 2000 or the original? That's the other question.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I think if you really want like a true core definitive, if you want the true core definitive origin, you really want to go with the nuance. But the problem is, the reason why hearing the idea of if you were to bring it back the third time, let's be real. We're in a world where constantly you bring back the remakes, you bring back an old classic, you bring back a semi classic, and then you bring it into this new world. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. You know what's coming. Nothing but sick, unalterated bullshit mixed with a lot of nuance and fuckery. I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Lord knows I'm not for it. No.
And you got a point. You do got a point on that because we talk about all the other past show that we had issue with, from Transformer to G.I. Joe. Now this, we also talk about He-Man and many other cartoons. You start to ask the question, are they just trying to destroy everything? Because all they're doing is making people walk away, literally walk away from the cartoon industrial era and close the door on it and sticking with the anime industrial era, which is not going nowhere. It is not. And that's the problem. The fan base they have. Why you think they have anime con or the type of event that's more massive than that of Comic Con? Explain that to me.
Comic
Why
is
when
pretty
they
big,
have
bro.
why you think when they have these events on a global stage, you go to Japan, the whole entire city or country is straight anime. They take it big. This is a multi-billion dollar industry. Cartoon could not even make the kind of money they make anymore, which is very interesting.
Anime has taken over the market. I'll give you that. Yes, I agree 100%. The anime has taken completely over. At one point, American cartoon was the hierarchy. Now it's flipped. Japanese animation is the hierarchy. Can we both agree? Can we all three of us agree on that or no?
Oh, we
Yeah,
have
I
no
agree with
choice.
that. There's no choice. There's no argument. There was no competition. The anime that came in,
I'm like, what
kicked it.
what plateau do you have to really say anything? Like, just real quick, David, because I'm telling you right now, in all things that I've ever remembered across the board, from what you would call animation of through American cycle through then of Japanese cycle, you can't sit here and tell me just to brief off from Thundercats real quick. You can't sit here and tell me you can find a classical or a decent nuanced version of Iron Man and tell me it was better than the Japan version when they freaking brung in what's the villain with the rings? You
Morak.
couldn't tell me that was better. That the anime version, you can't tell me that's better. That shit was just crisp. I don't know if the agent had a hand in it, but it was just too good. But my thing is, even from that point, right? Just saying, like, just how like they clean up a lot of things and just bring it to the new age. My thing is, in a lot of senses, looking at what they did with this from the second stand and how good they did it, they chose to throw it all away for what? For the simplicity of because you couldn't get the toys to go sell. At this point, you don't look here. Back in the days, it was a beautiful thing to get toys, right? Because kids were so enhanced with it and everything else. Nowadays, look where we are in the market. Everyone's about a tablet, a phone, whatever gadgets you want to go for. That's all most people are about most of these days. That's what most kids are about most of these days. We lost the idea of toys and collections these days, unless you're a true fan. And literally, only the true fans only care about collecting the toys and the action figures. Legitimately. After that, you're pretty much screwed. So what do you pivot on to? You pivot on to bringing people in with the story. And what did they do with this one? They brought people in. Because what did they did with the second phase? They got the two brothers to fight. Because why? Because now one of the brothers feel like he should have been the chosen one. He should be leading the whole race of the whole Panthera. He should be the guy. That's perfect. Because at the end of the day, what do we all know in an everyday time and family? You got more siblings. You got more than one sibling. There's always a favorite, quote unquote, right? So why was he choosing not me? But of course, no. We want to keep being on toys, motherfuckers.
And what? I got a question for you. Have you ever considered running for politics? The way you talking,
I
like
don't care about no damn politics. I don't care about
the way you're talking, with your hand, your finger up, and like it's like a politician.
I just no. I'm just very witty with it as if anything, but I do not. No, I just can't. I could never do politics.
Nah, I was joking, but
Yeah.
you have some very good points there. Like, okay, kids are not really playing toys like they used to. There are a few kids I know, like my buddy's kid. He's into trains. If I give him a Thundercat, he's gonna like, what the fuck is this? Toys, train. That's what he's into, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or some other kids are into, I don't know, football, soccer, whatever they're into now these days, right? They're not buying toys like they used to because they're not into that anymore. So, except trying to sell a toy, how about you sell a game for a tablet for it instead? Or am I wrong?
No, I mean, but that's the thing. Sell it to the newer venue. Sell it to the new age, right? That's
A Generation Alpha.
That's the game. Because again, at this day and age, if anyone's buying a toy, you're buying it for the simple fact of a collector's item or to decorate your room.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
that's the best thing you can ever have. Like, literally, I could see someone having the freaking sword in their room hung up on the wall, and it's like, yeah. Let someone say anything. I will Thundercat and swing this sword right in your face. I can see someone have that. I can see someone literally sit there and have it on their wall and be like, that right there is the image of greatness. But is like I said, these day and age, toys are not what it is today as it is yesterday. It's neither the new little game on an app or neither the new video game or neither just even if it's just posters. Like posters probably get more sales than toys at the end of the day. So I don't know. It's a very horrible nature at this point in the day. As
So,
far as
I didn't want to bring this out, but
this guy, this guy.
what guy? I didn't do anything. I didn't want to bring
See,
it out.
but you proved my point, though. You proved my point. You got the damn thing.
It's a little dirty because it
You
is
know what I'm
storage for a
saying?
while. It took me a while to get this out, but yeah, I didn't want to bring it out because how dirty it was. But you
I mean, hey, by all means,
forced my
though,
hand.
because, again, you just proved my point exactly. Like this, is what I'm talking about. They will have this sword sitting on the wall somewhere, and it's like, voila, one of my pride joys.
It sounds like they took DI and shoved it up the cartoon bottle.
I want to show you guys something. Second, you guys keep going until I pull this up because
All right.
what you're talking
Well,
about, I agree 100%. But go ahead, keep going.
but yeah, but that's just the name of the game. Is like now more than ever, you want to be more mindful of today's time frame. And right now is like this is where it's at. You want to be more connected to story. People want that drawback. People don't want to be on this whole, it's just a cartoon and we love the toy and we're passionate about the toy. No, no, no. Now it's got to be, well, what's the story and why should I be so connected to it? Oh, this?
Yeah, I have this in my car. I want to get a better one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I want to get that too. So you can tell I'm a
Oh,
Thundercat
that's
fan.
the gauntlet. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. You can find some decent, cool collectibles on Amazon, believe it or not. Well, I'll breaking the bank. Just FYI for anybody who is looking to buy stuff. But okay, so let's touch base for the collectible side of it, the toys. People are going to buy stuff for collectible. If you walk around New York Comic Con, I go every year. I went with Paul this year. David is coming next year with us. He doesn't have a choice, to be honest with you. So when you walk around there, one thing you're going to see is T-shirts, collectibles, lightsabers. Paul bought his first lightsaber. I bought my second lightsaber from there, and so on. So you telling me, yeah, collectibles are not making money? They're making money. My buddy CQ from Pop Culture Warrior, his back wall and his storage are so much collectibles. If he spits the wrong way, it comes out of his asshole how many he has. But yeah, it's a lot out there. If any anime, I'm sorry, Eric says that if any anime series is great, the merch will follow. Comments, statements, what do you guys think? I agree on that statement personally.
That's true. That's true. That's always going to be the case.
I'll give you a great example. Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
See, there
Dragon
you go.
Ball Z is considered a classic now, if you really think about it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want
No.
to use Gundam because Gundam is a little inch of it because of gunplay. Let's keep gunplay out of it for a second. But I use Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is a perfect example. Dragon Ball Z came out when? And it's still making toys now? It's still making movies and series? They did
Let's
something
go
wrong.
back. Let's go back
Well,
for
yeah.
no, hold on, let's go back for Dragon Ball Z was almost as a game before it came to a cartoon.
Was it? I didn't
And
know
we
that.
found, and we found out there were way more Dragon Ball Z games than we had in the US in Japan. So freaking many. It's unheard of. The same applied to Bleach. It was no different. That is what the problem. This is something that not just me, while many others have to notice. The fact that this country really have any creativity. They don't know how to provide a level of consistency. This is something I'll be trying to scratch my head for years, and I think, you know what, just give up. I don't like to watch anything that'll make me become dumber in this country. So when you mention Dragon Ball Z, just know it came a long when it started, not its rival, but its mate, One Piece, started be to the inspiration of Dragon Ball Z. Before it was Dragon Ball Z, it was actually Dragon Ball. Let's be Pacific.
Yeah, yeah, it was Dragon
First
Ball.
was Dragon Ball, then went to Dragon Ball Z. Then, for some reason, went to Dragon Ball GT. It came back with Dragon Ball Z Kai. Then Dragon
If
Ball
you ever
Super.
mention GT on my show again, I will hook kick you so fucking hard from
Yeah,
back to sperm.
I only got one thing.
Uh, Dragon Ball GT,
Leave
GT,
GT alone.
GT. And the funny
You
about
like it
Akira
like I
Toriyama,
worked a long day.
no, the funny thing about that is the fact that they even actually incorporate those characters and say they want the different timeline. I'm like, nigga,
It was the worst series in the world, GT.
it was the worst series, but I like the character they created, which is very, very unusual.
Oh, I'll give him credit for that. Yeah, I'll give him credit on
And
that.
that's
I'm
the
not denying
problem.
that.
See, that's the beauty of GT. It had the characters. It just didn't have what you wanted.
The
To,
storyline.
Hmm.
didn't have what you wanted it to be. It pissed me off.
Now, to all the audience out here who, when we talk about comparing cartoon to anime, let's try this for example. We had Naruto, one of the highest rating anime, global stage. Went from Naruto to Naruto Shippuden. When it first came out, it had that catchy Japanese hip hop flair. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm getting my headband. I'm gonna rock this. Yeah, yeah, that's what's up." That came from there to you have the continuation, Boruto. Now, some people, what the hell is Boruto? I'm like, this is Japanese creativity, not American reject creativity. There
Hey,
is a
that was
reason why
fucking.
the story had to continue. It never ended because unless you are a real writer, you know how to create a real story that captivate the world on a huge scale, you're not gonna be a cartoon artist like the one out here in the U.S. Real talk.
So I'm
Let's
glad you
welcome to
mentioned.
my new guest, first time on the show. What's going on, my man?
It's about time he
Hey,
showed
what's
up.
up?
Yeah, I gave him the link. I let him know
Yeah,
that he
okay.
was.
Thanks for warning me.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, man. No,
That's cool.
yeah, Wally. Well, Wally's on my right hand man, so he told me about you like just today. I never, with all due respect, sir.
I thought
Gross
you
start.
knew because
This is
he
my first
works
time ever
over at
hearing you.
he works over at
That's okay. It's I know I'm a new channel, so I want to be around for a few years, but
My
we're
my
growing.
little brother
Oh, you're
Jay
welcome.
Kakashis.
You're welcome. Shut up over there, you
Yeah, thank
goddamn
you for
king
having me here,
being.
man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome to join. We're talking about Thundercats tonight. So, what's your opinion? I'll give you the
Uh
floor for a
oh.
minute.
Uh oh.
Oh, okay, Thunder. Okay, old school wise. Okay, listen. So everybody knows. I mean, my two boys on here know. I'm a '90s kid. I'm a '91, a legit '90s boy. And the old school Thundercats was a classic. Nothing can ever beat it, in my opinion. And I was hesitant on that remake that they did, but they did pretty good until it got canceled. So I was quite tight about that because it was going in. It was going. They were actually doing something good, and they were hitting a stride. And then they're like, "We're gonna cancel that shit." Like, so F it. And not that that was retarded, but Thundercats as a like franchise is probably one of the best. It has a lot of nostalgia of factor for the '90s babies, such as myself, and it opened a different type of genre, which you can do when you can explore different types of creative ideas. So, like for example, no one will ever get Thundercats. Oh shit, yeah. So, um, like I said, it's personally one of my favorites. It's an old school classic that I think still works, still hits to this day. And I if they did do a, I'm not sure if I want another remake personally. If they did do a remake, then I would have them do everything from the original and just better, and I would say better animation. But I'm gonna tell you this: I'm always a sucker for the old school animation because back in that time, it was hard to get animation like that. First of all, it was even rare to see something that looked that good in old animation style. And back then, they drew everything, and that's I'm an artist. I used to draw like that, and I just love how the old stuff looks. So, for example, Yu Hakusho. I'm a king of Yu Hakusho. I can say that on my chest up, yes, because I know more than everybody in that series. And what I like about like Thundercats, Yu Hakusho Slayers, is that they retain that style, and it makes me appreciate the work even more. Because, like I said, we're in a time now where people can do digital art, and you know what I'm saying, and it can get done. It can get done, created a lot easier as opposed to back then where it was much harder to do it. So, so that's just my whole thing. Thundercats is a classic. I don't care what anyone says. It's great. All the Cheetara, Lion-O. I don't have to go through all the characters. Mumra, the villain. Yeah, the ever living freaking mummy motherfucker. But yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. My friend would always freaking do his quote. It's so freaking lame and cheesy, but it just works, and it's funny to me now that I'm older. And I'm like, that guy, like that guy was just wilding. but but yeah, it's a classic. Everybody should respect it personally, and yes, I mean everybody should respect it. Um, and please give it a watch, whether it be watch the old school first, and then watch the remake after that.
I gotta give you credit, dude. I agree with you 100% because I'm a 85s born. I love the 80s and the 90s cartoons. Those were like memories to me, like the
Mm-hmm.
X-Men, the Spider-Mans. Like I got
No,
Voltron show coming up soon. Dude, me and you are gonna change the information. I get you come back on this already. I know we're
oh,
gonna kick it
definitely,
pretty good.
man, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think
So
the '80s,
go
the
ahead.
'90s animation rocks, bro.
Oh, I totally agree, and that's where my argument is. You know, it wasn't a bad story to 2000, but it wasn't the classic. I like the classic. I think that was a superior product, to be honest with you guys, and I think it was a better product. Yeah,
Yeah,
at least it was finished. It didn't catch on halfway through it when it was good because toys wasn't selling. That's what they said. Why it got canceled, and I think that's bullshit personally. And like Wally said earlier, I don't know if you heard his statement saying the 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 way we are pushing things out now, toys are not the same way now. Kids are used to having their iPhones and glued to and playing their games. So you have to sell things differently now. And I agree with Wally saying that. What do you think, man?
um, merch is a big key factor of it. Like for example, I could see freaking Thundercats literally being if they had remake just I will say like even better with sales and stuff. It could have been a franchise possibly as big as freaking TMNT. And the reason why I say that because let's keep it real. Like it's a long running franchise. It's had freaking a bunch of shows and spinoffs. And guess what? You, me, and everybody on this panel has watched the old cartoon to the 2003, and it still slaps. Like the 2003, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I think personally, dang, that was one of the best TMT cartoons I've ever watched, and their merch still sells to this day to new up and coming kids coming up. Like my nephew, I'll tell you right now, my nephew never heard of TNT. Then he watched that new like 3D looking one that came out, and then he liked it. And I told him, I said, listen, you can. I told him I actually he kicked it with me for a few days, and then he says, yo, he says, yo, do you have TNT? I'm like, yeah, but I got all the other ones. What other ones? He watched the old TNT cartoon, like the old 80s, 90s cartoon. He watched that, and then he watched the 2003 with me. He loves it, and he went nuts when he saw the 2003. How they looked, how they moved, the freaking intro, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He loves that freaking stuff. The thing is with Thundercats, it's merch is what helps sell a product even more, and furthermore, and the more you don't capitalize off of it, the more the series will not get it won't get its proper placement, and also it won't get notoriety and retention. That's the word I'm looking for. Retention. Because there's a reason why it took so long to come back, particularly its merch was ass. I have to be real. It was. Like I tell my friends, you see some of the merch they had, it didn't sell well. But people liked the show.
Huh? They have merch?
Yeah, look it up. Look it up. It was terrible.
There's a reason why I asked that, because if you tell me they had merch, it was non-existent.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't around. So like after season 2, I was wondering why does it take us long for 3 and 4 to come here? The merch is what it was. It didn't sell properly, but people love 1 and 2 so much. It was like a petition to get it back. So what Ghost of Sparta is saying is, the more you invest into a series, you invest into the popular things of that series, the more retention you'll get. If you don't get any retention from it, it will die and it will go very stale very fast sometimes. So you got to sell merch on different wavelengths. And I can't stress enough by saying this. I've seen 2 get canceled or just be blah because they like I said, they have cool characters, but they can't sell merch. And that's how they end up like just going into the freaking blacklist box. Like nobody even remembers them.
Great example. I'll give you a couple examples right now for good merch. We had Dragon Ball Z. We have Gundam. Pokemon was one of the highest ones that I can remember off my head right now.
Oh, see, but
Pokemon's a cheat code, sir, because it's never going to go bad.
Yeah,
there's a whole other argument too.
Yeah, that's a different argument for a different topic for a different day.
Right.
Or we could use a different one like Techno Man. It was a great fucking series, but didn't sell any merch.
Right.
Yeah, Saber Riders and Star Sheriffs, great series, no merch again. It was there, but it wasn't pushed hard enough for them to continue with that. And you have Brave Star. There's another good one. Again, it wasn't pushed. Outlaw Star. Again, it wasn't pushed for merch. It was pushed to content, but not the merch. Without the merch, you can't back up. Yes, this is a good series. We're gonna invest you. Okay, we give you $1 million this year. We'll give you $2 million next year to get more whatever you need. So that's where, as consumers, as us, we want the storyline, but we have to make sure it is a good show. By a good show, and we need to have these kids. Like my old sensei used to say to me, the kids keeps the light on in this dojo. And that's what we need, unfortunately. I know it sucks, but it is what it is. What are you guys' opinions on that?
All right, so let me come in here real quick, right? So let me ask just one quick question, right? How much of you right now can sit here and say, or even pull up a Thundercat shirt right now?
You said pull up a Thundercat shirt?
I have one, yeah. I bought one over Comic-Con in October.
Okay, so you got it in Comic-Con. Okay, I'm talking about like if you go to a store, like you can go buy an actual like Thundercat shirt in the store.
Last time I saw one was early 2000s in Walmart.
Ladies and gentlemen, my point has been proven. My thing is, again, okay, so there's a reason why I asked that, because if I go back to David's point about the whole Naruto, right? Notice one thing, right? The headbands. Notice something simple as the headbands alone end up driving markets. Why? Because it means that you entice yourself with the brand. You entice yourself with a clan, right? The moment you entice yourself with the clan, the Leaf Village, whatever village of clan you want to be a part of, you already align yourself that way, right? Especially if you get the one with the slashes, then you pretty much a rebel at that point, which a lot of people like to be anyways. But why? Because it goes back to social norms of most of us are already doing the same thing, right? On a daily basis. We got the jocks, we got the cheerleaders, we got the freaking nerds, we got the geeks, or whatever, however that is in social society. It's pretty much the same thing, but slightly different, right? Because, of course, there's a lot of history backed up behind those overall. But it just goes to show, like, something as simple as that is massive. Something that very simple is massive. And trust me, I've seen a lot of people that are literally Naruto fans that be dripped in the freaking clothing. I'd be like, yeah, let me walk away from the internet because that right there, especially the females. Lord have mercy. Oh, it's just crazy. But just going back to it, it's like, honestly, I just can't look at it and just be like, man, when you sit there and you just look at for what it is, it's like, because even if I were to swing around and go back to Jay's point about the whole like TMNT, it's like Thundercats wouldn't even have that much because Thundercats only have two, the classic and the 2011, 2012. TMNT within the 2000 plus time span had multiple shows. So what that tells me,
Right?
Nickelodeon out here putting in work in Cartoon Network or whoever owns it, which was spinning around, couldn't even spin around the block. So what that tells you, there's not enough. There's not enough of that passion,
and also not a demand too. Don't forget that too. I think
well, of course, demand. That's what I'm pretty much aiming at. But
because well, look at me. I haven't listen. I'm actually wearing merch right now of two different series that he just named. Actually, he said Dragon Ball, Pokemon, right? Pokemon hat, DBZ shirt, dude. So yeah. So and also, heck, man, even a Sailor Moon Ninroid, I have that too. So it's just like it goes to show you to like too much is given, much is required. And like I will say this, as much retention as you gain and notoriety, it like I said, it really will help. Like it really will help your I was gonna say franchise, but I think it's a big leap for me to say that your God damn it, your product will sell. I think I'll say it in terms of business. The more your product will sell, because I said retention is important, and also it also depends how much money you're putting in for that product to sell. For example, DBZ Pokemon have been around forever. Pokemon at this point is a goddamn cheat code. So is DBZ because what helps their marketing, they don't have to do much. They don't have to make cartoons. They can just make the games. And guess what? Everybody will go out and buy.
Well, actually, let me push back a little bit. I'll actually
go ahead.
That. I would believe Pokemon still would have to make a TV show amongst games. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, if Pokemon just make games and that's it, and then they don't make no more cartoons, I'm sorry, no.
But the shows are. But I'll say this: the shows are a way of, and I don't know if Sparta or David would agree with me, but the shows technically promote the games. If you're going to be real, because because the thing is, you watch the whole season, you'll see all the Pokemon that you'll see in the games, in the actual handheld game when you get it, and then
if it wasn't for the show, if it wasn't for the show. If it wasn't for the show wasn't going to push out the games. The games weren't going to push out the cards. And so it's a vulnerable cycle. It's, like you said, it's cheat code. Pokemon is a big cheat code. So you got the games, you got the show, you got the games, you got the cards.
Got the cards too. Yeah, I forgot about that too.
1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals
they're doing three different things.
Ching.
Yeah, they're marketing.
So they did something right.
Things.
Yeah, they did something. Dragon Ball Z, a great example. You know, overseas in Japan, they have a lot more things just to show. Like they started with, they had Dragon Ball Z cards. They have Dragon Ball Z toys, Dragon Ball Z food, everything. At one point, Gundam is another great example. Gundam has a lot of things. They have a
great example.
Like it's a huge statue. You can go see Dragon Ball Z, a whole Gundam moving out. I mean, and he actually moves and everything. I've seen videos on YouTube of it. It's actually pretty cool. I think personally.
Oh yeah, dude, I definitely want to trust me. That's something I plan on seeing over there too. But that's because it's been around. That has been around possibly longer than. Actually, no, it has been around longer than DBZ and Pokemon combined because it came in the 80s. If I'm not mistaken, and they had hella old series before you got to the modern age series, and they're still, I believe they're still going now too. They're still there. So I'm saying, like I said, they have an expanding history. With some of these series, some franchises that we're bringing up. and they just sell over there. They sell over other places, and people still, like I said, they have model kits for Gundam. They have freaking they have the Dynasty in Gundam style. Like, dude, my friend was just playing that the other last week in my face. So yeah, dude, like they have, like I said, I think long running franchises tend, like I said, tend to have the upper hand because they started at a time where you know it had never been done before, or at least the ideas that we get. Even Digimon even Digimon to this day, as it's not at its peak like it used to be, but people will still buy Digimon products.
You know what? I'm very surprised Digimon didn't do as better than it did, because I thought Digimon was actually better than Pokemon. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, you said Digimon?
Yeah.
So here's my thing, right? Here's my argument, because Digimon and Pokemon have been the biggest battle-tested war of all time. Here's the thing, right? No, literally it has. It literally has, because the quote-unquote pocket monsters, as they would call them. The biggest problem, though, with the battle of Digimon and Pokemon is it all really depends on what you take from it. Because I would say Digimon, from a TV show perspective versus Pokemon, it's like a hand in hand like thing, right? You could take it either way, right? But for me, if I had to choose between one of these two shows TV wise, I'll choose Digimon up to a certain point, because that newer version with Digimon with that I forgot that red Digimon name with the freaking
Digimon Hunter.
Probably
Shoutmon. Shoutmon.
Okay, yeah, Shoutmon. That when it got to that, okay, that went to the point of just one, overbroken, but two, with no follow up of any like consistency. Like, bro, okay, no, I'm not doing this. You ain't gonna do this to me. One thing,
and that was a way of bringing it back too. By the way, I don't want to cut Wally off, but that was a way of them trying to market and bring Digimon back with Extra Wars. One he's talking about, because
it did good well.
Because after season 5, I tell people this: after season 5, they went on a cold spell for a minute, and then they was like, you know what, let's do Extra Wars. And by the time I don't know where I was after, I think I was out of college at this time, I heard that they were bringing that damn thing back around 2015, 2014, somewhere around there. And I think they went on a 3-year span and brought it back for like 3 shows, and then they went quiet again. You know how I know that? Is because in 2013, after I graduated college, I remember them like second to final season, and then I'm seeing all the merch for it in Japan and stuff. So that's what that a new one out, because they're trying to relit the franchise and things like that. And right now, I think just last year they came out with a ghost one, which is my bad. They went quiet, and then they came out with another one, which was like a ghost version of it. And I haven't watched that, whatever, but they're trying right now. They haven't given up. Like, they made a whole nother series franchise out of it right now. Whether it's doing successful with it, I don't know, but I know the newest one got like 2 extra seasons to it now. So I don't know, but what they try to do, Ghost is part, they try to reinvent it and try to change it up to see, for the kids over there in Japan in particular, to see if they like it. And if it gets well received, they'll do another season for it sometimes. So it depends on what it is. And
personally, with Digimon
is one of those weird series. I ain't gonna lie.
I like my 2 favorite ones are first 2 seasons. And I think they were great. After that, I was like shady. That one with the DNA kind of thing and the cards, I was okay.
Oh, you talking about Tamers? You said they had cards, right?
Yeah,
they use the cards to swipe and they turn. And the
that's season 3. Tamers. That's Tamers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they did then they became Digimon. They were more like Power Rangers more than anything.
Oh, he's talking about season 4. That's my favorite season, actually. He's talking about my 2 favorite seasons, 3 and 4. Yeah. And that's when they were at their peak.
I think if I'm not mistaken, that's Digimon Frontiers. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, Digimon Frontiers season 4. That's what we're talking about. He's talking about
my issue with Digimon was this was his 1 and 2 connected. Then 3, 4 had no connection to each other. It was like 2 separate things.
They were their own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You disagree?
Slightly. Well, to a degree, yeah. because here's my thing, right? Because the first two, right, as far as the first part, and then if you talk about the second one, now when we
Wally,
say
hang on
the
a second.
second
Let me
one,
get this guy's theme song going on here. You and your goddamn glasses, I'm gonna slap them off your head. You're not at the beach yet.
What's good, Jay? Long time, man. How you been?
Yo, man, listen, I've been following your IG posts, man. Congratulations, you and your wife and your kids, man. Shout out to
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that a lot.
Paul, what's going on, my man? How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good.
old
Now let
school.
Wally was cooking, so let him finish his point.
Wally,
I'll
you're
come
up for
back.
you're up. Paul, you're next.
yeah. What I was about to say? No, because so we started from the Destins. If I'm not mistaken, when we went to the second one, right? That was when we got the two kids got grown up, right? If I'm not mistaken, just make sure I'm
TK and
clear.
Kari, yeah.
Yeah, they got older. So okay, so you got the other ones. So that's what. Okay,
It's
so from
continuing-
the first two, yeah, they had a more connectional story, and then of course you could say 3 and then 4 were sort of separate. But the thing is, though, I won't like you may say they were distant from the main characters, but for the overall factor point, I won't say like it was ultimately like separate. I just think like let's be very main about what it is, quote unquote, Digimon, right? It's like, yes, the first two had a connective story as far as the overall things, but it's like even with the first two, the second one was still different from the first one. It's just you're just adding two of the same characters to now this team and then building off from that. But overall, it was still separate because you're dealing with different mechanics of Digimon evolution. So each and every last one of them always had a different formality of evolution. So either which way, of course, almost all of them were all different. None of them were really that consistently the same. The first two had a connection, but not overall, like to a degree.
Okay, I will give you that because I feel like there's first a connection. I like that when they continue season after season, little connection or something. Not exactly like go back in history. Oh, do you remember that guy? Kind of like a little memory lapse kind of thing. I like it. Little connections with the seasons. It makes more sense personally. But it doesn't have to be. All right, Paul. We were talking about Thundercats originally. We went off topic a little bit. What's your experience? What's your opinion? You have the floor for a minute.
Okay. Well, one, I just came in here just to say hello. God willing, in about 9 hours, I'm going to be on an airplane going to Miami. So we are. Yeah. So I'm
This is
already
why
kind
he's
of
wearing
in
his shades.
vacation mode.
Is rubbing in my face. He goes,
Yeah. I'm just trying to get myself mentally ready for it.
You gotta get
So,
get out there for the lights,
Wait,
camera,
9
and action.
hours?
In 9, yeah, 7. My flight is 7:40 in the morning. So,
Mr. Bennett, where are you flying to, sir?
Flying to Miami, and then we're taking a cruise to the Caribbean.
Oh.
Okay. You're doing the December cruise. Listen, brother, me and my friend did that in 2018 as a means of celebrating, and you're gonna enjoy it. It's a really good Caribbean. Like the Caribbean trips were freaking amazing, man. We had a nice time. Food was good, so don't worry about the food being bad. I promise you, you're gonna have food.
It's been a minute since I've been on a cruise. We went,
so.
my wife and I, we went before we had our kids. Actually, she was pregnant. She was like 4 months pregnant on my first one. And we haven't been since. So this is for us. This is like us getting, now my youngest is 21. And so this is us kind of connecting and getting back into the dating scene. And
don't come back and tell me you have another baby. I'm going to laugh at you.
Nah. Well, I'm done. I'm a member of the V Club, so no other babies are coming out of me anytime soon.
God has made miracles before.
Look, if it's God's will, then I can't question that. So yeah, if he wants to just drop one on us like that, then hey, I got nothing to say about that. Be like Abram and Sarah in her old age. But that being said, but yeah, I mean, I think I talked at length because I know months ago we talked about He-Man versus Lion-O. And that comparison, so I think I shared a lot about it as well. So yeah, I was a fan of the '85 series. I didn't really see the 2011 series too much, but definitely Thundercats was big back in the day. And just like we said, but Obviously, I'm a little probably older than most of you guys, so again, I'm more of a
You think?
Transformers, GI Joe, or even go before that. I'm Battle of the Planets, Gotcha
Keep
Man,
going.
you
Keep
know,
going further
Speed
back.
Racer kind of
Gotcha,
guy. So
man.
I'm
Speed
I'm
Racer.
I
I
go
remember Speed Racer.
yeah. So I go back to those days with the Japanese animated spots, and then I'm a huge kaiju monster fan. So you know all the Godzilla. Johnny Sacco and his flying robot, all those movies from back in the day. So absolutely, I rock with those. But Thundercats definitely. Now, is interesting because I know you guys are opining and longing for an animated series to come back, and I know what Hollywood has done to some of these franchises with live action. But after seeing the work that they've done with like Planet of the Apes or Lord of the Rings or just some of the new Lion King movie that came out and whatnot, stuff is so good. I would like to just see how would they render live action characters, with the full, animation, live and stuff like that, musculature, all that kind of stuff, and see how a live action would go. I would like to see that. I would certainly go to see that if they ever came out with it. But I know that, guys aren't feeling Transformers where they went with the series and all that. And even the Planet of the Apes series, the last movie I hear wasn't very good. But the ones
Give
up to that
all due
I thought were
respect.
very good.
Well, Bennett,
Hang on a second, Wally.
Yeah.
To make a Thundercat movie is going to be very difficult because of it's going to be mostly CGI. I think it won't
Correct.
be anything. If it is going, I think they just do CGI completely and scrap real actors or do an anime version of a movie like they did with the Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, and they did a really good
Spider-Verse.
job of that. Something like that, I'll be back at it. Now live action. I can't back it up because I think it's gonna be horrible.
And that's why I preface it because I knew that some of the properties that have been taken to live action haven't gone very well, but I blame that more on certainly the script writing more so than what you're seeing on screen. You can't
That's a
deny
whole
the
different
advancements
argument.
that have been made
I
in
agree with you.
the CGI that you get Andy, especially just the acting when we talk about Andy Serkis and stuff that he's done in the past and whatnot. So I mean those guys, that animation coach that we showed the video of when he was mimicking the apes and everything. I'm just saying, like you get some guys who can really, and then you had the Avatar movies. I don't know how you guys feel about the Avatar movies, but certainly it's been done with mixed results. But like I said, I would personally like to see a live action Thundercats movie. If they ever came out with that, I would think, certainly people would be intrigued. Even you guys who are kind of like dreading it, I think that the force would be the pull would be too strong for you guys not to go.
I will see it. Don't get me wrong. I will go see it.
I like you, Mr. Bennett, for that.
So I will say this, right? Because so to your point about the whole Planet of the Apes, I mean, whoever feels some type of way about that one, you're pretty much dealing with a whole new colony that's ex-combative from the first half. So it's like, yeah, you're pretty much walking into a whole new one, and people are like, oh, all that. But I mean, nonetheless, it is what it is. It's just for what it was at that point in time. You don't like it? Oh, well, boo-hoo. But I still liked it. And plus, me and other people, we did a reaction towards the movie. And I think the overall consensus was around like a 7 to 8, maybe even a 9 in there, somewhere around there in the mix. So
what was your favorite? What was your favorite in the, I guess, this latest series out? What was your favorite one? I think the second one, probably later for me, but what was your favorite?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're just talking about just that movie alone, like as far as like what was like the scenery of it, because when I came into the movie of it, right, I was like, okay, wait a minute, what happened to Caesar in this? And because I'm like, because I guess I must have missed the other one, so that's why I'm like, maybe I just lost off the.
Yeah, they do a big jump in time, so
you're right.
So
So
huge jump, not big, huge jump.
So like when they did it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wally. Go ahead. Finish your saying.
Yeah. No. So when they did it, I was like, okay. So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, so what they did for Caesar. But then you hear Caesar's name in there. It's like, and then as you go into time in the movie, it's like, oh, okay. So technically, this is the colony that he started, but someone else came in rank, and I'm like, well. That's a sucky deal right there. That is a sucky deal. But then again, it's like, well, it was bound to happen eventually, right? new age, new groups, and new leadership, and all that other stuff, etc., etc. Meaning the world is still drowning into the fact of apes are still locking down these motherfuckers to the point that they have no access to, their worldly technology to the highest degree, which is freaking amazing how long that's been, and they still can't do nothing. That tells you how stupid Americans are. I'm just gonna be honest. Literally, because that's what happens when you sit around and pay to your toys, and you're like, your toys are God. Yeah, guess what?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The first 3 ape movies, it was good. When they jumped to this disaster, I did a whole show on it. And I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? That's how bad it was.
Wasn't as bad. Well, I mean, for you, it was bad for you, but it wasn't bad for me at all.
The last movie?
It was all right for me.
I disagree.
I remember, granted, if you think about everything that came before and then slinging around across, you may say otherwise, right? But if you're focusing on that alone, it wasn't as bad as most people think. Because again, you're dealing with a whole new group. You're not dealing with the group of yesterday. You're dealing with a whole new group. So you got to start from there and be like,
oh, I get that. I get it's a new series, a new everything. I understand that. I respect that part. But the story didn't add up to me. It didn't connect the dots. You know what I'm saying?
And I understand that part. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're looking at it from the whole brackets here, I can understand that. But if you're looking at just that movie alone, then it's different. But from the reason why I was speaking on that and where I want to expand on it is, I'll say this, right? Because I did mention Thundercats live movie because there was actually some teaser film showing a Thundercat live movie possibly.
Yeah, it was a fan-made one.
Yeah, it was a fan-made one, which it looked pretty good, right? If they were to ever do that, I can somewhat see it because in a sense of think about how they're doing like Sonic Knuckles, like how they're doing that, right? To that degree, and then you thinking about looking at them and then in that same type of flesh of fur, I can see that being done. Now, do you want to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna give it to you, Jay, don't worry. Do you want to say like TV or a movie though? I wouldn't do movie. I would do TV at best. But I'm slinging the Jay though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay, what you about to say?
Yeah, I did have something to say. First of all, Mr. Bennett, shout out to you in the Power Man shades, because that's from the Goofy movie. Yeah. Like everybody knows that. Come on, we listen, that's why I'm a 90s baby. Because I know that movie through and through. And the only person that rocked them shades really good is either Michael Jackson or Power Man. Well, to what Wally is saying, I wouldn't with what they're doing with Sonic, no one expected. Let's keep it real. I'm the biggest Sonic fanboy. I grew up with a Sega Genesis. Let's keep it real. That Shinobi and other games that I had on my cartridge, please believe, like I'm a 90s baby in that regards. Like that used to be the thing to play those games. And a simple ass controller, not the one we got today. This is still simple, but not as simple as the other one. But think like they're freaking little blue hedgehog and make him look like his actual game accurate self. And we pull off now granted it was during COVID when the first movie came out, so it didn't get the numbers that it got, but it was well received so people wouldn't see it.
Oh, yeah, it's still good.
And to see where they've come with that animation to make him look how he looks, like it's crazy where we're at. And like I literally had my man I think Mr. Bennett knows him. I literally had my man Tommy on one of my streams like about months ago, and he says, I can't believe we're in a freaking time where we got game characters coming on big screens and looking nice now. I never thought I'd be around to see that. So
good. Another example is Mario.
Yeah, Mario too. Mario's not live action. Mario's CG, like a motherfucker. We all knew they couldn't pull it off in real life because they did a long time ago, and you will not like
with
that.
The two brothers,
oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
John Leguizamo.
They never do a live action.
John Leguizamo.
You can't pay me to watch that one.
5 ninjas for that one.
No, I couldn't do that. That's bad. I couldn't do it. But at the same time, like Mr. Mr. Bennett, we could get a Thundercats, but it would have to be in the form of Sonic like that. And if they look like how they look like Knuckles and stuff like that, muscular, do some little tuning because Lion-O is is an actual cut motherfucker, like that ass. And
Yeah.
if they did it as a show, it would look nice. I could see that going down.
Yeah.
I don't want a movie. I would like a series.
Right.
That way, the first season it gets well received, and then we cut off to Mumra, and then
You
we
can
get
blow. Yeah, I agree with you. I think
like
a television series, I guess, is a good sort of testing ground. You can choose some pilots or whatnot and see how those are received. Then you can go to expanding the series. Someone picks you up for a season or two, and then if it's really popular, you can take it to a movie. Yeah, definitely a movie would probably be the last. But the point was to see them in a live action, especially after seeing clips of like I said, the Lion King movie got me going. Obviously, we know about the Planet of the Apes franchise. Like I said,
they're doing the He-Man movie too, by the way. I mean, Masters of Evil. Masters of the Universe. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, the Master Universe. They're working on a script right now. They haven't even started shooting or already casting yet.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't want to see that unless either they're going to CGI He-Man or they got to get somebody who's got the frame to pull it off.
Build actor. I can see that.
You got to get somebody who can really fit the physicality. You have to like buy into it on screen. The last guy I've seen who had even a slide of muscle in a major film. I mean, Chris Hemsworth, I think he pulled it off as far as putting a good body together for Thor. But you don't see these guys really get. I mean, guys getting ripped, but it's not enough for the guy to be ripped. He has to look like he could pick up like 10
He needs to be like a bodybuilder. At the end of the day, we talked about this on the other show.
He's got to have muscles, but we've gone away from that in recent years. Like, so gone are the Arnolds, and those guys who had real muscles on them, and now everyone wants to be fit. Everybody wants to be shredded, but the musculature is such where you just don't it's hard to buy into it. It's like in wrestling, you see a guy who's shredded, but he's a little guy, flipping over big guys. It just doesn't work. I mean, in terms of you're separating from reality and whatnot. If you want us to buy into it, so yes, a really muscular, well-built man who could pull that off. Or otherwise, like I said, you're gonna have to Hulk him out somehow. I don't know how they would do it, but didn't they do that with that Shazam guy? Those Shazam movies.
Dr. Levi.
They did something to him. He and it was weird because they were showing workout videos and stuff. But look, you don't look like in that costume, bro. So they either that costume was padded.
I'm not gonna lie. That was the costume. That wasn't him.
Yeah, he was padded up.
I'll give a better example.
They did something to render it. Yeah.
The woman who plays Mrs. Marvel, she has no glutes. She's flat. Her ass. She's a flat ass. They put pillows or inserts in there. Simple. They see scenes like her walking around. She has flat.
Oh man,
you're gonna laugh so bad, dude.
Yeah. He said she's flat.
Yeah. Oh, I'm blonde. On my show, we're blonde. We say we're edgy and straightforward.
So you don't have those women who are just like drop dead gorgeous, or guys who are just like mass. I mean, Dave Bautista, I guess he was kind of like that for a minute, but then it's like all these guys, they go through it, they all start to slim down after a while. You know what I mean? And I can get it, health reasons. It's not healthy walking around at 300 pounds. That's not healthy, especially once you get older. So I can understand that, but you got to have some guys who can really give you that. And that's why Arnold, I think, was still today the most iconic muscle man in cinema history, because again, he brought it. When you saw him in Predator or Terminator or something like that, he looked like somebody who would would intimidate you. You know what I mean? So I think they need to get back to that.
Stallone, both, at least with his now with his Rocky role, he looked really.
And Stallone, he fooled you though. Stallone fooled you a lot, because again, even in the movies, you take for granted how small he's, like 5'10", 150 pounds. Yeah. Then he got even slimmer. Like, when Rocky 3 came out, he was even slimmer in Rocky 3. He got shredded. No, he got shredded in 3, and he got diced in 4. I mean, 4 was just like another, I don't know what he was on. He was on juices. I don't think he ate any food. I think he was just on juices and whatnot, and lived in the sauna for 5 hours a day or something like that. I mean, but again, he gave you that sense of physicality, but he's a small guy. Even Mr. T is only 5'10".
By the way, in Rambo 3, Rambo 2 and 3, he looks like he was like he's actually shredded in that. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but they made sure they didn't cast anybody too big. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
he
And
was
so
don't forget
physically.
also when you're
He looked like
when you're
a
under
martial arts character. That's why.
yeah.
when you're under those lights, your muscles are gets hit at different angles and the cameras and everything. So in real life, he might not be that as ripped you think it is, but when those lights hit, I met Kai Green and Jay Cutler, and I met him a couple times actually, and I had a conversation with Kai Green. He goes, when those lights hit, that's why we have to be tan so much because we can
Yeah,
shrink or get too
washes
big.
you out. Yeah, the
Yeah, and
bright
that's
lights
why.
wash you out.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. I think they sprayed him or whatever they sprayed him to.
Spray tan. Yeah,
Yeah, help him out a little bit. So it's their own.
Well,
yeah.
so if I can come in here real quick. So to Ben's point, I mean, yeah, I could see how that would be very contrary because, like, if someone plays He-Man, it's like, are you really gonna have that build, or are you gonna pretty much quote unquote hawk it? And then I ain't gonna lie, I would believe they will more likely hawk it in a sense because here's the thing with that type of build, right? Because when you get an action film like that, you want to be able to guy to be movable, flexible, and be able to be like that strong. So it's like sort of contradicting if you having that type of muscle mass. It is like, well, are you really able to move the joints that much or the body to a way where you're getting the physique, but at the same time you're also getting like full action at the fastest peak, right? Like of anybody else, right? Versus just getting like a traditional bodybuilder. So that's my thing with that. Because
well, you would be going away from the He-Man because when did He-Man ever move fast? When did he ever run fast? When did he ever leap anywhere? He was very like this. Someone would throw a boulder at him. He'd be
more
like
a Titan in a sense, like as far as like because he's barbarian, right? So
Yeah.
most
more
barbarian
caveman in that
heavy,
regards, but
he's heavy and lean, which that's nothing I'm really trying to change up. But what I'm saying is like it's the fact that someone like him as in a barbarian style and the way how he would fight is like, okay, you're willing the sword, which you already know is gonna be like strong, heavy, right? The shield, you're in that barbarian stance. You're swinging and moving with that. And there's a lot to that because you gotta be able to, like, when you make that shift to torque and swing with a sword and all that block up. So it's like that's a lot of things that I just look at for me as far as looking at that. Because when I look at He-Man, I look at that as if I'm looking at like a sort of like a Spartacus, and you're someone like fighting with that type of
Style.
that pretty much that style, but also that that impact. So I'm like,
correction. I want to say one really fast before you move on. There were some scenes they saw He-Man actually running, but not super fast. He was running. So you want to add that. But if they're going to do that with
but
He-Man
most of the
movie,
time he moved, he was riding Battle Cat.
exactly. He was most
Battle Cat was fast, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
But
He
the
was
size. If they do a He-Man movie, they have to do the same thing with Lionel. If they do a Thundercat movie, because he's actually pretty decent cut too, Lionel, as the leader of the Thundercats. If he's a good size on him, look, if you've seen pictures of him.
If he's got to be like that, then whoever plays Panthro has to be matched. He has to be like Michael Clark Duncan size. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be that big. Whoever's going to pay Panthro, he's got to be that size to get that.
Right. But I think in most cases for the Leno, I mean, that can be sort of masked because no one don't really know what his physique really looks like under that fur, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you try to pivot off of what his armor looked like, and then you see like how that armor shapes off his body, then you could say otherwise. But usually, you wouldn't really go that far. Like, see, classic person like that, like at best you get a 6-pack, but you're nice and lean, not too overbearing.
That's who he kind of looks like, real low key? Mel Gibson. Like if you look at Mel Gibson, Braveheart, like the profile shot, not the body, but the profile shot. If you just look at his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks like Mel Gibson from Braveheart. I don't know. It just kind of flashed across. Like I could certainly have seen if you want to talk about just fantasy playing somebody or whatever.
See, now Panthro is a big dude.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's
it is a big dude. So
he's the brick of the group. You know what I mean?
He's the big body.
Yeah.
So
he was I don't want to say the muscles, but he was the builder the blacksmith, all that stuff. End of the day.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the reason why he's that built.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing one bit. This is the one guy that is saying he can play, but I don't think he can fit him.
Okay, I see who they made.
Yeah, he played in Asparagus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, because his name is very difficult to say. But yeah, but I mean, I like the idea of it. I like the idea. Oh yeah, I like that idea too. But yeah, it's just those characters are so very. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like usually, anytime anything animated, you want to be a little bit more realistic. And that's what I'm saying with the live action, you're gonna be pushing more of a realistic feel. Granted, now again, we're using Hulk. I mean, eventually they made Hulk what Hulk is. So it's like you're gonna make it close to what He-Man is eventually. And you're not gonna try to budget cut it down a little bit. But if they do, it's like, well, I just hope they don't do it in a way where it's deceptive to his character in a sense. Because you really want him to be because think about it. When you think about his size and everything else, the one thing for sure about He-Man is resistance. You think about resistance, just that willpower to take any blow and all this other stuff. So, you want to make sure that it makes sense when you're doing it overall.
I'll give you that. You want to make it as close to the series or as close as realistic to us that we can. Because when it comes to reality, you want something into reality. Even this, this doesn't exist. Thundercats don't exist. The Sword of Omens doesn't exist. The ghosts of the leader doesn't come back and talk to us, all that stuff. But let's make it as realistic as possible. That's why I think Transformers failed so bad, because they couldn't make it realistic because it's a robot transforming. Come on now, how fucking fake is that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah.
But you could certainly make for example, like the world that they come from. Like I thought, like the way, like in Man of Steel, the way they did Krypton, for example. I mean, they made it like
did a really
this
good job
fleshy. They made a fleshy, real kind of world that these beings were in. So you could certainly, if the story's going to start there, starts on their home world, and then they have to, for whatever reason, they have to leave it and go somewhere. Whatever. I mean, we've seen bits and pieces from other films that we can say, well, if they can string these together, take like I said, the home world depiction, take it like from Man of Steel, for example, and then you take, like I said, the animation, you take that from whether you want to do Planet of the Apes or Chronicles of Narnia, or from, like I said, the latest Lion King. You want to take that. We've seen enough scattered around. I don't know how many people have put it all together. And like I said, we all saw Avatar, which was, actually I had a headache after coming out of Avatar though. I thought the color saturation, I think I might have saw a 3D version of it, and I literally had a headache afterwards because the color saturation and all that, it was like my sensory overload to the max. I'm like, y'all need to turn down that intensity a little bit.
It also could have been the 3D glasses too, Paul.
Maybe, but I've gone to 3D movies, but it's like when you combine that with all of that extra that Avatar gave you, like I said, it was just too much. I had this bad headache when I came out of it. That's why, in fact, I didn't even see Avatar 2 because I was just remembering that. But I know I need to catch up on Netflix with that. But I think you can draw from it's doable. The question is who's going to stand behind it. And again, I think with any of these franchises or whatnot, you got to have somebody who really is a fan of the franchise if you really want to pull it off, regardless of technology and everything you want to put. Even if you go to the animated route, you got to have somebody who loves the series or who wants to give the fans what they remember from their childhoods or whatever. Someone who's going to stay true to the story and not change too many things around.
I think that is the problem, Paul, because we hear this all the time. I'm a huge fan of the series, yada yada, and when they do it, and we're looking at each other like, in theory, we're like, what the fuck would you just watch?
Yeah. Well, look, they're always going to try to explain. They're always going to try to expand the base. I mean, you can have a very loyal fan base, but it's a small basis. Saw that when we went to Comic-Con. I mean, you had folks of these series that we were looking at. Yeah, I mean, diehards love the series, but
Yeah.
I never heard of the series before. So it was like, you know, yeah, you can have your cult following, so to speak, but
Comic Con is a weird example because you have so many different cultures in one location.
Yeah.
You have wrestling fans, you have Power Rangers, you have Pokemon, you have anime, you got video games, you got Dragon Ball Z. You were on the Dragon Ball Z Expo with me. You saw that, how big the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and I never, like I said, that was. I guess I was a dull, but I kind of fell out of watching a lot of cartoons by that time. So I think I might have caught like the first 2 seasons of Pokemon, and then I was kind of done after that. And I didn't really.
Yeah.
Or if I did watch an animated, I went back to my roots. Like I'm a kind of a nostalgic guy, so I went back when they started putting Transformers on YouTube, seasons 1 and 2. I started watching that, or like I said, Battle of the Planets, or some of those things that I remember fondly growing up with. I would rely on those. I didn't watch a lot of I typically don't watch a lot of remakes. That's just always been my thing. So like even I remember the Thunderbirds. I remember
the movie one.
No, going all the way back. Like I said, I go back to now again, I wasn't even born when the original ones came out. But those are the ones I grew up on.
The popular ones, right?
Yes. So I go back and I watch those. But when they came out with the movie and when they came out with the new animated series, the new CGI animated series and whatnot, they were okay. But it didn't resonate with me the way the old stuff did. And that's why, like I said, generally speaking, remakes typically don't work now for me. But what oftentimes does work is now if you want to get the band back together and get those original characters and whatnot and say, okay, well, 20 years later, we got that'll pique my interest because again, it just takes me back, certainly to those times, the 70s and the 80s, when, the times I grew up in. But any kind of reboots, I just think that a lot of stuff just does not need to be remade.
I'm going to push back a little bit here right now, Paul, because the reboot of the Thundercats, the original voice who played Lionel played the father of Lionel in the reboot. So you had some of the original characters coming back. So why you say that? They're in it, but they're playing different characters. Are you going to say no now?
If it's not the original, no, I'm saying if you want to advance the story, and they say get those guys back together and continue on with it, then again, I don't have a problem with that. But if you're talking about a new series altogether, and you're just going to have the guy who played Lionel to be his father or whatever, I may be in there for a minute just to check it out. I may be interested, but is there going to be enough there to want me to patronize the new property? Not necessarily. Like I said, I'm very nostalgic when it comes to a lot of my my watchings. The only exceptions to that would be, like I said, I loved the Planet of the Apes reboot. The first movie, the 4 or 5 movies that they've done or whatever, I thought it was a good and a significant upgrade. I mean, to me, nothing will replace the 1968 ending of Planet of the Apes. Nothing. That to me is one of the greatest endings of a movie ever. So that will always hold, a special place for me. But I thought they did a darn good job with the series overall, the last movie notwithstanding. So again, it doesn't happen all the time, but I do appreciate, certainly, the original product. And again, sometimes you just run out of ideas. I mean, how many Terminator movies have been done? They really should have stopped after 2. Right? Terminator 2, that was your apex. You were never going to get back to that. But you keep milking the.
I would say 4. It should stopped.
You liked the third Terminator movie?
No, the third one was horrible. The fourth one I liked.
That was what, Genesis? What was that?
Yeah, that was the guy who played Batman in it. The character.
That wasn't too bad. But
that's why I said
Genesis,
4 should be end.
Yeah, but then Genesis was like, and then they came out with a couple more after that, and you were like,
I don't think they came out after that. Genesis was the last one I thought wasn't it?
No, they came out with at least one more after that. Wally, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
I'm looking right now. Give me 1 second.
No.
There've been at least 1 or 2 Terminator movies that came out after Genesis.
Because if I'm not mistaken, for me, when it comes to Terminator movies, I would at best say that I probably watched like the first 2.
Yeah.
Why don't you do a whole show?
That's really all you need to watch.
No, I'm just like, anything else.
I think the
Because
first.
I just didn't have enough time to watch the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so personally, I think the first two story-wise, I do agree with you. Like the first one and second one, yeah. So really, those me to make a third one, really, because the third one was just like, well, we're gonna let it happen anyway. So we just negate the
It's
first two
software.
movies and just
So
Yeah, you know what I'm
we're
saying?
both wrong.
yeah, right, Mr.
Wait,
Bennett. They
so-
just negate the first two movies and like just let the whole thing blow up. Then stop anything.
So we're both wrong, Paul. So it's T1, T2, T3. That Rising Machine, I thought was horrible.
That was
Salvation, I
Judgment
thought it was pretty decent. And Genesis was just like, And Darker Fate, Fado. I don't think so. It was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I think right here this should have ended. It was Salvation, or if they were going to
Well-
continue, just continue with him to the next movies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I have a point
Yeah.
in making that. God, great. I hate getting messages when I'm trying to talk. Sorry about that, y'all. But the thing is with the Terminator series, and I just came back, I had to take care of the dishes real quick just to knock that out. The thing is with the Terminator tech, because the story was that good, and the thing is you don't want to do anything to kind of tarnish the first two movies. But when you did three, you kind of say like, screw it. They didn't, pardon my French, they didn't stop shit. So we're just going to let it happen anyway. That's what Judgment Day was. And then they made four because they wanted to, the first movie, you only get it in a flashback, but you get what's his name? Kyle Reese. You get a brief moment of what his future is like. And they wanted to make a movie 4 based off that to show what the war was like. Because remember, you only get it in like short like flashbacks or whatever, but you don't get a full in depth. That's why I would say 4 is good for only, and this is just me, because you get to see what the war looks like. Because over there you get to see what he turns into the badass leader that he's supposed to. Yeah. And if we're gonna keep it real, it should have. This is what I would have did. I would have just made that not a sequel, a prequel to like, this is what starts everything. I send Kyle back there. And then you end off the movie right there. That's what 4 technically could have been if you wanted to keep it. Instead of him could have just had pieces of the war, and then we ended off with him sending his dad, his future dad he doesn't know about. So, so that's what I mean.
But Jay Kakachi,
go ahead.
I revisited the thing, and even though you mentioned the fourth, I literally said the whole entire lineup was trash because there was no consistency with the storyline. I'm sorry. Where's Unicorn? Why you take the horn of Unicorn and pop it all the time? You just forgot about like what never existed. What happened to that part? There were too many hiccups, too many switcheroos. It was like pure garbage. Why is Grimlock in dinosaur mode but can't go in robot mode? Why is
you're talking about
Jack
Transformers-wise? Okay, Transformers-wise.
And I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, there was never any consistency.
Yeah, David has an issue with American movies. There's no consistency, and I mean, he's right about it. I can't disagree with him. So he has a good point of it.
Transformers have no consistency. Sparta, they have no consistency.
So I just added, so you guys know, I just added to the list. I'm gonna upload more episodes very soon. Terminator. So we're gonna be going over that pretty soon too. So guys, heads up. So let's start. Let's go our final thoughts. Let's go around Wally, Jay, Paul, and David, and I'll close us out.
Oh, okay. So,
Wally,
I was literally on another stream where y'all was talking about it. But one thing I will say is a good topic to talk about, because now that Bennett brung it up, is the art of passing the first two movies. Because I ain't gonna lie, every single time people get to the quote unquote trilogy, it is very lukewarm as hell when we get to that part, because like you're gonna be thinking, oh, the first two were first two were great, and next thing you know, you're gonna get into the third one's gonna be awesome, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, I mean, this was all right, but you know, there's just certain things I just wish didn't happen the way it did. But okay, whatever.
That's a good topic, Pete. We can do
because there's a bunch of movies out there that literally a bunch of movies that had like 3, and you can just spin off like Lord have mercy. Spider-Man, one of them. Blade is another one.
Lord.
Bad trilogies.
Bro, there is so much of these trilogy movies.
or great ones. I mean, I think Star Wars, the original trilogy, I thought they landed.
Okay,
I thought they landed the ship.
But see,
I thought they.
But
they did
here's
as
the
good as
reason
they
why
could.
Star Wars did great, though, right? Because Star Wars was in a loop. Because the way how the timeline was, that's why that thing did great. But at least with these, there were just certain pieces that fucked up the other movies. Not saying they weren't good. I mean, I like Spider-Man 3, but the problem is there were certain things in there that were just no for me. Like, you ruined this.
It was a mess. Yeah, Spider-Man. It was a mess.
And I was like, Lord, but they were just.
And I still hate to this day. I still hate the Venom franchise because they took away a major part of who Venom was and why Venom was the way he was. And they just totally rewrote that for the.
Oh God!
They just totally rewrote that for the series. But I mean, if you're not gonna deal with who Brock was and what motivated him to be the person he became and why the symbiote merged with him and all that, then you're missing out. So my thing is, if you're not gonna do that part right, but again, they don't want muscular men in these movies. Because if you're gonna do Brock right, Brock is like 6'5", 260 pounds. The guy was a big bodybuilding brick.
Yeah,
that's why he's stronger than Spider-Man.
Well,
hold on. You don't want muscle man in these movies, but you put the Rock to destroy. What are it? G.I. Joe? Really?
Black Adam.
Brock is the only guy. He's the only guy, though. He's the only guy. Him and maybe Jason Momoa, who I don't look at as a brick. He's a big guy, but I don't look at him as overly muscular. But
he's not. He hates working out. He has said it multiple times. Paul, he has says it on air. He hates working out. Momoa hates working out. He doesn't. He does it because he has to. If it wasn't for Baywatch and in what young age, he wouldn't ever be an actor. He said it too. All right, Jay, you want to go next, bud?
Hold on. He hate working out?
Yeah, he said it.
Really?
He loves sitting around drinking beer.
That's why it was so contradicting. The fact that he's in action movies, like you hate working out, but you're in action movies.
You hate working out, but you love a bunch of women hand touching your damn body. Really?
I guess. All right, let's get the next person to the final thoughts.
Wait, I didn't even finish mine. Damn.
Oh shit, my bad. I thought you were done.
No, I wasn't even done yet. I really wasn't even done. But I was also gonna say to what Mr. Bennett was saying earlier, because I probably already forgot because it blew my mind. What do you have there? Literally, like, because Room was already, and then it just folded to everything.
You were talking about trilogies. It's hard to get to. It's hard to get to the third movie.
And I know you said, okay, there it is. Yeah, thank you. So one thing I would say though, and it's the sad factor of the Venom and Brock is like, let's be real. This is a different Eddie Brock we got. This is a different formality and all those other things and everything else. It's like we all know how this all works. But of course, to get that type of Eddie Brock, we had to have Peter Parker because there was no way that was going to happen without that person. I'm just going to be honest with that. There's just no way. You always had to have the punching bag, and without Peter Parker, there's just not there. It's just not there. But even which then, still to this day, yeah, that Venom and that Eddie Brock. No. I mean, I get it why they did it that way, but still no, just no. Hell no. But with that said, I'm gonna let it go. Go ahead, someone else.
Okay, somebody go. So. Overall, I like the conversation we had. We touched on multiple franchises, not just simply Thundercats, about what it would take if you were to redo the series. The type of way we said, do it Sonic style, but do it in a sense of you get the characters correct. You do, like I said, you put the actual work in and take your goddamn bias out and you put in with the fans. Simple. I mean, that's why the Sonic franchise is doing as good as it is. It's going to have a fourth film coming out, which I'll be saying. But overall, shout out to Ghost Sparta for having me on. Shout out to Wally. Shout out to Mr. Bennett with the Power Man shades. Respect. Shout Shout out to Black David, CBN. Yeah. And listen, you guys have a great night. All that jazz. Guys, I'll be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for my review of the Sonic movie. I will be Saturday next week because I got the day off. So be on the lookout for that. And also, me and Wally have an interview with Hink possibly tomorrow or next week. So if anything, be on the lookout for that, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
So, Jay, I'm gonna have you come back again. I actually did enjoy having you on, so I have your information. You're always welcome, and I tell everybody who comes on my channel, you're welcome to co-stream on your platform too. If you need help doing that through this restream program we're using, let me know. I'll hook you up. All right, man.
Mhm. All right, thank
All
you,
right.
man. Appreciate it. Nice
No
meeting
problem,
you
brother.
for the first time, actually.
Pleasure. It was a very pleasure, and like a good pleasure. All right, let's get Paul up here.
Well, first of all, I co-sign that. It's very good to see Jay. Good to see that you're doing well and do keep doing your thing, brother. So glad everything's good with you. But yeah, certainly this was good. Again, reminiscing a little bit. But like I said, I'm a classic guy, but I would still like to see if they can pull off bringing Thundercats to live action. But I do agree that definitely through a series, a TV series, might be the best way to pull it off and see, do a pilot and see where they can go with it. And but there's certainly, like I said, we went all over the map tonight. And again, I intended literally just to come in and say hello, but the conversation gets going and everybody has good points to bring up. But I will be away. So again, my flight is at 7:45 this morning or tomorrow morning. So I need to get some sleep and finish packing and all that good stuff. I'm up 95% packed, but usually it's like the last 5% is what you wind up regretting and you're missing. So I need to make sure I stay on that. But yes, I'm
All right,
my
Paul.
wife and I
gotta say something really fast. Okay,
there we go.
I have to tell you my good side of it. You're a very good friend of yours who took your Comic Con when you're, I think we're close now. Have a great time, bro. I know I've been breaking your balls for the last 3 months about this, but have a great time. Enjoy yourself. Now, the goes as far as myself, like, it is your PTO has not been approved. You cannot go. You have to be at the show tomorrow. So you're getting written up
unless
tomorrow.
You're gonna send some guys to the gate at the airport.
I can arrange that.
Yeah. So there's gonna be some guys that check in and be like, "Sorry,
JFK?
Mr. Bennett, you have to come with us, please." So
is it JFK?
So unless I'm not telling. No, I'm not telling.
If it's JFK, I got connections down there. Don't worry.
Philly. All right, I'm falling out of Philadelphia.
I fucking have no connection to Philly. I'm too white for that shit down there.
But yeah, so I will be back. Like I said, next show next week. So I'll probably miss you guys on the next Saturday show, next Saturday hangout, and the Gray Area show. But again, special thanks to Boss Man who's about to fill in for me on the Gray Area show. I will have access to Wi-Fi down there, so hopefully I'll be able to catch some of the streaming that's going on there, and hopefully chime in when I can. But you guys, again, enjoy your week. Keep the conversations going. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys next week. You guys take care.
All right, man. Have a safe trip. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you when you get back.
All right, guys.
All right, David, you're up.
Well, let's put it like this. I'll make it short and sweet. American cartoon production arena is full of trash, lack of consistency, lack of originality, too much of wokeness, and way too much of BS. That's what it is. I was surprised to hear something that almost got me irritated. The Rock don't like to work out, but yet, whenever you want to flex your pack and have a bunch of women want to grab on you, it's not a problem. Bullshit. Let's stop this, okay? But good talk.
You're talking about someone else.
Good talk. I'm glad we were able to point out some of these issues that we are seeing right now because this is something that we are hoping they don't bring that garbage over to the anime section. Because when we had this conversation about Disney want to buy some of these anime and we do it, we're like, we do what again?
They'll be
Stick to what you stick to what you're good at doing, but leave anime alone. Just please do that. Stick to your lane. That's what I gotta say.
I'll say even further. There'll be nothing but fire and hell at your front door.
Guys,
No,
thank you
I'm just, I'm just
so much
being,
for showing up tonight.
I'm just being polite because Disney don't like it that the anime industry is beyond a juggernaut on a global stage.
That's their problem.
It's so much of a juggernaut that the Chinese are trying to compete with them
Yeah, well, yeah, that's too late for them.
on their turf.
That's too late for them.
So let's get a quick schedule update, guys. First, I want to thank everybody who showed up. Thank you so much, guys. You have no idea how many. Guys, whoever's been watching this on a rerun, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. It does help us out a lot. And if you want to drop a little Christmas present in our cash app, I won't say no. This week, tomorrow, I'm gonna be interviewing Boss Man on the gray area. My brain just froze there. Boss Man on the gray area because somebody's going on a freaking vacation. But yeah, Boss Man gonna be jumping in for Paul's. He's gonna be interviewing me and him. We're gonna have a great conversation tomorrow night at 9:30 on this channel and BMUs. On Thursday, we're talking about why a woman chooses to take a partner. Yes, David, I know you have a lot to say on that one. Wally, you want to join that one?
Man, look. Wait,
No.
when is that? Thursday?
Yeah, 9:30. I'll send you a link. If you can join us, all right?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to that particular topic, I'm gonna let y'all have it.
All right.
Now the question is, are we gonna bring some female guests so we can have the female point of view?
I'd be happy to have a female on here. If you know a few of them, send them emails. All right.
Okay. I'll
If
think
you know
of a few. Maybe
I send a school wife and Grace and some other ones out. Nobody responds usually. So I cannot force people to show up. Like people showed up today. I was very surprised and good surprise. We have a new person in Kanama. That's why I always drop the link in the chat. If you want to join, I was going to say, as long as you follow the rules, keep the politics away and be respectful. I have no problem coming up here. Anybody.
because I'm glad that Jujikati came out here because these type of conversation we have when it come to movies and cartoon anime, he's also needed in this conversation because this the brother who was
I
trying to
got
move
his
to
email
Japan.
now. He's gonna be a part of the list too now. So Saturday's list is growing. I'm growing Thursday's list. We're gonna add more chat days, like we said, to the network. So, like I
I know.
said, David, if you know females, anybody who's watching, a Pacific woman wants to join our conversation on Thursday, please, you're welcome to come. The only thing the rule is you have to have your camera on and you have to have your mic on. I have
Not
to
a
know who you
problem.
are. So, okay. So, on next Saturday, we're going to be talking about wrestling on a big screen from ring to Hollywood. I'm going to contact JT and Mark and see if they can join us on that one conversation because we have a lot of actors that go from wrestling to acting and vice versa. I like that conversation. And there are some wrestling movies I want to touch base on too. Now, on 26th, this one hits home for me a little bit, guys, because I've been through my own headaches with work. David, this might hit home for you too. Workplace, equal opportunity. Are men still in the driver's seat?
No.
And on Saturday, the 28th, this one, I cannot wait for this one. Wally, you're going to like this one. Ready for this? All video games. Why were it more difficult than modern games? You shaking? Is that a good shake or a back shake? I just want to try to figure out right now.
You said why are old games are more harder than modern games?
Yeah.
Easy. Today's kids are dumb.
Fuck you,
Well,
dude.
I wouldn't even say that either. I wouldn't even go there. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's be very frank. Let's be very frank about something. Today's age of modern gaming, with these expansions and everything else, sometimes some of these are actually just as worse, depending on certain factors. But it all depends on the game in particular, of what you're talking about that are just.
I'll make it better for you. It depends on the educational level that in your school system of today.
Oh, David, let's have that conversation on the 28th. Angry
Okay.
was supposed to join us for that one. All right. So,
Okay, I'm just throwing some monkey wrench. That's all.
No spoilers. Hold up. There. Okay. Wally, anything else to say?
Huh?
And you got anything else before we
Oh
go?
no.
David? David, anything else?
No, we're waiting for that day of the modern game versus the old school game. I'm ready to go and put both feet in and knuckle in on this conversation.
Jesus, I think I created a
Now, when we
monster with
say
him.
old school games, right, we're talking about video games, correct? The consoles.
Yes, like
Like,
Nintendo,
for example,
Super
Legacy of
Nintendo.
Kain. Perfect
Yeah.
example.
Stuff like that. Like, I'll give you more details when I get a little closer. All right. You got my email? Email me back, dude. Jay, if you're there, you got anything else to say? Guess not.
Jay Takachi? Mm.
He probably stepped away.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, guys, as always, I am Ghost Aspire from the SQ Network. This was a great conversation. Please do yourself a favor, like, share, and subscribe. And also, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.